Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. Today I thought I would show you how I took this beautiful little coffee table and made it into something kind of cool. As you can see, it was missing its top. I could have put wood in there, but I thought, let's try to make it a little funner. So, all right, here we go. I got this piece from a fellow furniture flipper. I believe I got it for $10. Those drawers are enormous, and I don't know if you saw, but in that top one, the velvet or felt lining is just kind of falling out. First things first for me, when at all possible, and I'm going to add casters to pretty much everything. It rolls, and I just believe that all furniture should roll. It's just, I don't know, makes sense to me. Here I'm using the DIY blending brush. We're going to go ahead and give this whole thing a pretty rough coat of Farm Fresh. As you can see, this brush is rough, so it's going to give me a scratchy kind of a rough look. Well, as you can see, I'm pulling out my favorite brush, which is my Klingon S50. I decided that I didn't want that rough look, so I'm going to go with the brush that's going to give me the smoothest, nicest finish, and this is the one. Now I'm applying more Farm Fresh, and I'm going to dip in just a little bit, start blending with some tarnish pearl. Go ahead and add a little bit of Hay Sailor at the bottom. Remember, just a nice spritz from Mel's Magic Misting Bottle is going to help your paint to blend and distribute, and it's just more workable and just good all the way around. Very rarely switch out my brush when blending. Adding just tiny bits of paint and a little spritz of water is just going to help those colors to move a little bit, to mix together a little bit without making a big muddy mess. If you get too much paint on your brush, sometimes you have to stop and wait for it to dry. That's okay, it's all right, but we're just gonna start with small amounts of paint. Hear those dogs in the background? I just want to let you know, those are not my dogs. Now let's go to town on that top drawer. We've got to get that felt out of there. I tried to vacuum it to see if I could salvage it, glue it back down, and it's just, no, not going to work. So it's got to come out. Now that we have it all out, I'm just going to go ahead and clean it pretty good. I'm using TSP, watered down in that bottle there, and a towel. Didn't want to spend any money on this coffee table, so everything that I'm using is stuff that I have from previous projects, stuff that I've just accumulated over time. So let's see if we can go find some fabric and do some fabric decoupage. If you're afraid of dolls, you want to close your eyes now. It'll only take about 5 seconds, no worries. This is where I keep my dolls. All these dolls I need to get listed on my Etsy store, and I just haven't done it. So now I'm just gonna dig through, see if I have any fabric big enough for this drawer. If not, I'll use scraps. But what do you know, looky there. I found a piece that I think is gonna work just fine. Okay, just so you know, you do not need to use as much Mod Podge as I am using. I am doing this the very lazy man's way. I'm kind of just dumping it in and spreading it out with the foam applicator there. You don't need to use that much, so if you are more conservative, you know, you can dip and then spread, but you know, I didn't want to do that. Was a perfect way to fix this drawer because they had used that industrial strength glue. There was still like a little bit of bumpies in there. I could have sanded it off and tried to make it real smooth so I could paint it, or use, you know, paper to decoupage, but fabric just kind of hides those little imperfections. That's why I chose this route. Napkins are a really cool thing to use for decoupaging. They are pretty inexpensive. Tuesday morning, it seems like to me, has the best variety for what you're doing. So you just want to take off all those plies. You just want that top ply. I'm going to lay mine down on saran wrap. Any kind of cheap plastic wrap will work. Now, I have to say, this is my first time using Big Top for a decoupage medium. Normally, I would use liquid patina, but I didn't have any home with me, and I definitely didn't want to drive to my store just to get some. So I talked to my friend Brianna, and she said, "Why won't it work?" And I said, "You're right, let's give it a go." And what do you know, it works. Not ever claim to be a decoupage queen. I think I am a little impatient for this process, but if you use a dry brush and you just smear it over your saran wrap, you can pull it back and it's pretty flawless. It's not perfect, but if you had more patience, not like me, if you were a person with patience, it could come out perfect. I didn't quite have a piece of wood big enough for this one, so I cut two and put those support boards that you can see there. Cut them to size, and then I rounded my corners a bit. So now we have a top for it that's removable if necessary. This is a huge piece of foam that I had from a mattress that I bought at Goodwill. Yes, it was new. But we're going to go ahead and cut that up and use it. Whenever I find any old mattresses, these like pillow top mattresses that haven't been used, you can use them for many, many different projects. So I try to pick those up when I can. I just divided this up into a very simple pattern here. So we're just going to have 3 rows of 3 dots. I'm going to use this 1/2-inch wood bit, and I'm going to go down all the way through my foam topper and through that wood on the bottom. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. It's got a pretty good bond to it and it dries pretty quickly. And that's what's going to hold everything kind of together for us, so I can flip it over here in a second. This is a piece of painter's drop cloth, just the kind that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's or your hardware store. I'd used the other portion of it for a different project, so let's use the rest. Because this was so large, I decided to put it up on the table. I wanted to keep it somewhat clean and, not just have dust and stuff on it. Now I'm going to attempt those corners. It's a little bit tricky, and I'm not an upholstery queen either. Normally I do chair tops. Those come out pretty good. But this is my first time doing a big, huge cushion like this. Now I thought we'd go ahead and tuft this cushion. So I'm going to take that big button, that's going to be my back, like a stopper button, put my twine through there. I'm going to push it all the way down through the hole, and the little string dillies are going to come out the other end. So that way we can find them when it's time to flip it over. Well, let's seal this guy with Big Top. Don't forget, if you guys are interested in any of the products that I use, please go to my website. It's windmillvintagedesigns.com. All right, so now we're going to use our little tufting buttons. So there's a little hook on there. You put it through one of your 2 threads, and then you're going to pull it down, make a knot around one of the cords, and then as you push and pull down, it kind of locks it down into place. So you just want to do that to the tautness that you want, and then we're going to tie some knots on either side of it to hold our button down. I absolutely didn't like the little knobs that were on it, and it was missing a few. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys on. I get these off of Amazon. They are my favorite. I call them cups or scoops. Hey, let's put our cushion on and see what it looks like. It looks like crap. I'm so frustrated at this point. I just kind of want to cry. Right, let's do it again. Time to remove all those staples so that we can put the fabric down on the floor and I can get on top of it so I can use my body weight as some pressure so I can pull it nice and tight, which is where I made my mistake in the first place. Should have just done it, but I didn't, so now I have to do it again. Now that I have that sheet laid down, I could lay my cushion down on top of it. As you can see, I'm sitting on it. I'm using my body weight so that I can get some pressure, and it's pulling in at least an inch, if not more, on either side. Really should have done that in the first place. Try to express yourself in your own way, and we could have some fun. All right, guys, here we go. So now we have a cute little coffee table ottoman kind of thing. I like the way it turned out. The decoupage isn't perfect, but you know, you can find all these products at windmillvintagedesigns.com. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget, only you can make it happen.